Let's get right into making the bikini top. Again, weight 4 yarn, a 4.5 millimeter hook. We're going to start off by chaining 26 because I'm doing a size medium, but if you want to do a small, you can chain 23. After you do your however many chains that you want, in my case it's 26, then you're going to skip that first chain and do a whole row of half double crochet. In my case, I did a chain of 26, and so I'll do 25 half double crochets. And I'm going to place a stitch marker in my first stitch. This is what it should look like. Then you're going to chain 1 turn. And now we're going to do a whole row of loop stitches. So you should still have the same amount of stitches in your previous row. In my case, I will have 25 loop stitches. This is what it should look like. Then you're going to chain 1, turn your work. And now we're going to decrease so that we can start forming the triangle for the cup of the bikini. So you're going to insert your hook, pull up the yarn, insert your hook again, pull up the yarn. Now you should have 3 pieces on your hook. Then you're going to pull the yarn through all 3. And that's your decrease. Go ahead and throw in a stitch marker so that you don't forget this stitch on the way back. Then you're going to continue along with half double crochet all the way until you get to the last 2 stitches, and you're going to do a decrease on that one. Once you get to the last 2 stitches, you're going to do a decrease. So remove your stitch marker, insert your hook, pull up a loop, insert your hook into the last stitch, and pull up another loop. And now you should have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to pull through all 3, and that's your decrease. Now you're going to chain 1, turn your work. And we're going to go back into doing loop stitches, but no decrease on this round. Just a whole row of regular loop stitches, 1 loop stitch in every stitch all the way to the end. Once you complete your whole row of loop stitches, you're going to chain 1 turn. And now we're going to go back to doing half double crochet, and this is when we do our decreases. So we're only going to decrease when we do our row of half double crochet. So we're going to insert, pull up a loop, insert, pull up another loop, and then pull through all 3, and that's our decrease. You're going to do this in the first and last stitch of every row of half double crochet. You are not going to decrease when you do your row of loop stitches. We're at the last 2 stitches. This is where we'll do our decrease. So we're gonna pull up 2 loops. The first loop, and this will be the second loop. You'll have 3 loops, and you're gonna pull through all 3 loops, and that's your decrease. Chain 1, turn your work. And now we are back to doing loop stitches. And remember, we do not decrease when we do the loop stitch. So you're going to continue to do this pattern, and you're going to alternate between rows of loop stitches and rows of half double crochet. And only when you do the row of half double crochet will you decrease in the first and last stitch. We're going to continue to do this pattern. Chain 1, turn your work after every row. And now we're at a row of half double crochet. So we're going to decrease in the first and last stitches. So here we're doing our decrease. And then we'll continue with doing half double crochet till we get to the last 2. And then we'll do another decrease. And this is what we're going to continue until we build up a triangle and we get all the way to the tippy point. And I will meet you back there when we get closer to the top of the triangle. Let's do one more decrease together, and I think after this you guys should get the hang of it. So we're going to insert our hook and pull up a loop. Then we're going to insert our hook again and pull up another loop. Now we should have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to pull through all 3, and that's our decrease. And I'll meet you back when we're almost to the top of our triangle. This is what it'll look like when you start to build the triangle. After you do all your decreases and loop stitch rows, it'll start to form a triangle cup. I am down to 5 more stitches, so we're going to do a decrease. We're going to pull up a loop, pull up another loop, and do our decrease. And then we have 1 half double crochet to do in between our last decrease. So now there's 1 more half double crochet. Yes, and then now we have 1 more decrease. So we're going to insert our hook and pull up a loop, remove the stitch marker, and complete the decrease. Just like that. So now we have 3 stitches, chain 1, turn our work, and now we're going to do our last row of loop stitches, no decrease on this row. So this will be my last 3 loop stitches. Still going to put in that stitch marker so I can see where that stitch is. And we're going to complete that loop stitch. And then our last loop stitch. There we go. Then, as always, we're going to chain 1, turn our work back. There we go. So we're going to do this last decrease. We had 3, so our last stitch right here, we're going to start to single crochet down the side of the bikini top. So in that last stitch where we remove the stitch marker, you're going to do a single crochet. Then we're going to continue and put 1 single crochet along this whole side of the bikini. We're going to put single crochets kind of in between where your chain 1 turn is, or wherever you can fit your hook. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just make sure it's not too wide apart. This will be just to make sure your sides are nice and clean and neat. We're just going to continue down, and when we get to the corner, before we single crochet across the bottom of the bikini cup, we're going to do 2 single crochets in the corner, and I'll show you that when we get there. Okay, We're at the last single crochet in the corner. We're going to put one, and then I'm going to put another one. So we're going to put 2 single crochets in the corner. It'll be easier to single crochet along the bottom because you can see those stitches more clearer than the side ones where you chain 1 turn. So when you single crochet across the bottom, it's going to be way easier, way faster. So we're going to put another single crochet in the corner. And then we're just going to continue to single crochet along the bottom of the bikini top. This is what it'll look like. Nice and neat. We're going to put another single crochet in that corner. And then we're going to continue to single crochet along the other side of the bikini till we reach back to the point at the top. We've reached back to the top of the bikini. I just have 1 stitch remaining. So we're going to complete that last single crochet, and then we're going to slip stitch right at the top. So not in your stitch marker, but right there at the top point of the bikini. And your bikini top is complete. You're going to make 2 of these exact ones, and then I'm just going to chain 2 and cut off my yarn so it creates that knot. And then we're going to move right along to the straps, and the straps are going to be super easy, super simple. It's going to be just a simple braided strap, and I'm going to show you that now. I did one of the cups off camera, so this is what the braided strap will look like. It's really simple. All you have to do is get 3 pieces of yarn. I measured it with an older bikini strap that I had, but you can literally just take the yarn, wrap it around your strap or tie it, and kind of eyeball how long you want the strap to be. So you're just going to take 3 and cut them at the same length, and they're going to be doubled. And then you're going to get a large darting needle, feed it through, and you're going to feed it right through the top of your bikini, right through the center. Right through the middle. Below both stitches so that it has a good secure base. Then you're going to pull the string evenly. And then I used my my little hook case for weight, but you can use whatever works for you. This is just what works for me. And we're literally just going to separate it into 2 pieces of yarn, and we're going to braid. We're just going to braid it all the way down. and then we're gonna knot the end, and I'll show you that too. Once you get to the length or towards the bottom, you're going to leave some yarn so that you can cut it like a tassel. You're going to separate it in half, tie it in a knot, and then you're going to tie all of the pieces into a knot. So you're going to wrap it around your 2 fingers, pull the yarn through, just so that the knot is secure and it looks a little more polished, a little more neater. And then you're just going to cut the excess yarn to whatever length you think looks the best. I cut mine to the same length as the other side, just so that it was even and had a little tassel hanging for a little pizzazz, a little something extra. Now you have your 2 bikini tops with your necktie already done. Now we're going to create the tie that ties around your waist or your body part. So you're going to get 6 pieces of string. And now you're not going to double this one like in half like we did for the tie around the neck part. You're just going to have one long piece of yarn that ties around your waist. And you're going to tie that in a knot on one side, and we're going to braid it just like we did for the straps, but you're going to braid it from the knot. You're going to get your weight, whatever it is you like to use, and we're just going to braid it all the way down to the end. And when we get a little bit closer to the end, we're going to leave a little bit of yarn length so we can tie it and have a tassel. Now that we have our braid, we're going to single crochet over our braided strap so that it can be adjustable and the bra cups can slide along the braided strap and it can fit any bust size. So you're going to attach it with a piece of yarn with a single crochet. And we're just going to put 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way to the end of the cup. And then once we complete that, we'll just tie off and weave in our ends, and then we'll do it to the other side. Once we complete the whole row of single crochet, we're just going to chain 2 and cut off. Now we're just going to leave a little room in between. It doesn't matter at all actually, because once you complete the single crochets over your braided strap, you'll be able to adjust where you want your cups to fit because it'll be able to slide along the braid. So it doesn't really matter, but just give it a little bit of room. And then you're going to attach your yarn with a single crochet again and single crochet along the bottom of the bikini top. Once you get to the end, you're going to chain 2 and cut the yarn. We're down to our last stitch. We're going to do that last single crochet, and then we'll chain 2 and cut our yarn. The final steps will be just to weave in the ends that we may have, and it's complete from there. This is what it'll look like once you weaved in all your ends. Everything looks very clean and uniformed. Super cute. I also thought about adding like a little rose, or if you did it in green, it'd kind of be like grass or moss. Really cute as a set, and I hope you like it.